and roll. Yay! Happy Friday, world! We are coming back with another educational video.
Woohoo!
Click like and subscribe. um, but we're so new to the social media world, but we're not new to the field of mental health and wellness. And so this week, I have my lovely ladies, Sylvia and Diamond's back again. Woohoo! And we
Hi.
are going to be talking about women's mental health because, you know, we got a special set of needs. Like, we got to have self-care. We got to have self-love. We got to have all these things. But I'm going to lay the experts to the ladies so they can go ahead and have the floor and bring to you today on this Friday as we rock in some green to continue with May for Mental Health. Our series, It Is Okay to Have Bad Days series for 2023. So ladies, take the floor.
Hi, everyone. I am Diamond again, back with another topic, and we're going to talk about women's health, women's mental health to be specific. So also in the corner, we just have some basic information about our center, the Encompassing Center. We do provide free mental health resources for different communities. The communities are East and West Garfield Park, near West Side and North Lawndale communities. So if any time even after hearing this presentation, if you got some information or if you think someone else can use our services that's in the area, feel free to share that information and come on in and get an intake done. So let's get into the topic today.
Alrighty.
So the first part or the first half, and what we're really going to talk about today is depression in women. I think it's an important topic because sometimes depression, especially in women, is seen differently. And there's a lot of different causes for women to have depression. And sometimes we don't really know that, or that information is not shared with us. So I do want to, kind of go a little bit deep into this topic and share some information that could really help a lot of women out there. So first, we're going to start with what is depression. So depression is a common, but it's a serious mood disorder. And with this mood disorder, it can have a variety of different symptoms, which we will get into. But it does affect your ability to do simple things like work, sleep, if you're in school, focus on school, eat, and just regularly enjoy life sometimes. Even though that this is mental health in general is still a new and still a developing science. It's a developing world still because there are still so many things that we don't know or that we're still finding information about. But the current research says that depression can be caused by a couple of different things. It could be genetic, it could be biological, it could be environmental things that's going on around us, or it could be psychological things that's happening that could cause us to have depression. So I'm going to hand it off to Sylvia.
Yes. So thank you, Diamond. My name is Sylvia. I'm sorry if I didn't introduce myself. I am one of the bilingual therapists here in the Encompassing Center. So I have to add something about this because it was fascinating to me, actually, with my experience working with Hispanic community. And they really don't believe in mental health, and they really don't know sometimes, they are depressed. And it's really important, that information that we're going to provide today to you guys, that you actually know what is depression. So one of the things that I want to add about this is depression is it's not just like a bad mood. Sometimes people tend to say like, okay, I'm sad or I'm depressed, right? Today, we are going to provide that information to you guys. What is really depression and when we need to be concerned about that, right? So it's not just a bad mood. I would say that, like you said, Diamond, depression affects the brain and the body and all type of levels, emotionally, mentally, physically, and behaviorally. When we see those areas in our life that are getting affected, that is a problem and we need to look for help. So one of the symptoms that we see here is in teenagers, actually, and kids and teenagers, irritability is a big one. Feeling guilty or helpless. They don't have energy to do some like basic tasks. Also things that they used to do before, they're not interested in doing it right now. Like for example, sports, they used to do a lot of sports before, they don't want to do anything right now, not interested about it. They have a lot of difficulties to sleep. Sometimes people might sleep, like oversleep or not sleeping at all, so that would be a sign. Another thing is they feel, the majority of the day they feel really sad. It's not just like, oh, I feel sad today because maybe something happened, but feeling sad all the time, probably like every day, that's another sign that we need to like look into it. Another thing is difficulties to concentrate. They have a really hard time to concentrate because they might be anxious, they might be like thinking about so many things, and they cannot like actually memorize some information, especially teenagers when they are in schools. The grades tend to decrease because of the lack of concentration and memorize information, new information. The changes in their weight, it is like it can increase or decrease, right? And because they sometimes when they are depressed, they eat too much or they don't eat at all, right? Another one, and it's a big one actually for us, for the mental health providers, when we do assessments, we always say, like if you're having a suicidal thoughts, and that's actually one of the biggest symptoms of depression. People have had some suicidal ideation, sometimes with plans and attempts as well, right? And some people tend to complain about headaches, pains, cramps, some aches in their bodies because they tend to their bodies tends to like get all those symptoms emotionally they're feeling. So yes, go ahead, Diamond.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch really quick on what Sylvia was saying with the symptoms. Sometimes symptoms can be different for cultural and different race. Specifically, one with irritability. That is one seen more in women, and it is still being studied, but it is seen more as one of the big symptoms of depression. Sometimes even if we notice ourselves, someone could just call our name, or if we have children and they say, hi, mommy, and suddenly we just get super irritated, or, we might get irritated with things more quickly than we normally are. That's sometimes a sign that you may be experiencing depression, because it can come up as just, I'm irritated. Everything somebody says to me makes me upset. I don't want anyone to talk to me. I just want to be alone. So that is one sometimes that you may notice in a lot of people, that specifically women, that they may be a sign of them having some type of depression. So now we're going to get into the causes of depression. There are many different causes of depression, many different things that can cause depression. One of the most common is a traumatic event. Sometimes you may have something that has happened to you that was very, very traumatic, or that you've seen that was very, very traumatic, and it causes a shift within you, and it causes the shift within your brain chemicals. So now you have depression based on something that you have experienced or saw. Genetics. If you, sometimes in families, you will have a history of mental illnesses, mood disorders, depression. If there is a history of that in your family, there is a good chance sometimes that it could be passed down. So if you have a mom who may have experienced depression, or had a grandma, aunt who have experienced depression, you may have experienced depression, or may have depression based on them having it too, because it was genetically passed down. The third thing could be a major life crisis. So in life happens. There are certain things in life that is going to happen that is not positive, that is not happy, but it's going to happen. One of those things can be someone passing away. That is something that, everyone experiences, but it is a big shift in your life. So if you had a major life change like that or major life crisis, it could send you or cause you to have depression based on that. So specifically for women, we have a lot of things that goes on with our bodies alone that can cause depression. So as we get older, we do have different things, and we have different things that we experience, like hormonal changes that can cause depression. And those hormonal changes comes in life where we may have childbirth. So our hormones, our bodies are changing, and you might have depression from that. One of the most common is the postpartum depression. So
Right.
where you experience after having your child and after your body has gone through so many different changes, you now deal with this different depression that is caused, and it's hard to kind of come out of. For women, we do have the time of the month, and that can cause premenstrual syndrome. So sometimes you can experience, before you come on your period or when you come on your period, you might have a change in your mood. You might be more irritated, you might be more emotional, you might be more sad. So you experience some of this depression going into your hormones changing because it's that time of the month. Also, you have menopause, perimenopause. That is another hormonal change within the body that most women go through once they get to an older stage of life. And your body is just going through these changes, and that could cause you to have depression also. And also, social factors can also lead to a high rate of depression among women. Those social factors could be things like stress from work, family responsibilities and roles. In the world, we're kind of always arguing about gender roles, what we're supposed to be doing, what is the role of a woman, what is the role of a man, and those expectations that are sometimes placed on us, or that we may even place on ourselves because we have these different beliefs of what we're supposed to be doing. That can cause us to have depression. And even things like, sexual abuse that happens, poverty, those things cause depression. Those things cause you to be very, very stressed, constantly having to worry. If you're at work and you have a lot of responsibilities, or if you're at home, you have a lot of responsibilities on a daily basis. If you have children, if you have a person that you take care of, that could cause a lot of stress, and that can send you into depression also. So sometimes we do have to learn how to de-stress, take a break, take a second so that we don't have this depression. So I'm going to give it to Sylvia again.
Yes, one of the things that I wanted to add about all this information just provide Diamond is that it's interesting that in teenagers is the time of the growth and changes, as you mentioned. So it is, so for some kids it's really hard for them to see their bodies changing, and the statistics says that in around teenagers is where more girls develop like a depression, any type of depression or anxiety disorder. So yes, probably like around 12 women in United States, they experience clinical depression each year, which I think that's pretty high, right? Another thing that we want to talk about is 1 in every 8 women can expect to develop clinical depression during their lifetime, right? Depression also occurs mostly in age within like 25 and 45 years old. And it's just because obviously that's during the time where, moms are becoming like moms, or they're like getting married, and those can be very stressful situations for women around that age, right? They also experience, women experience depression roughly 2 times more than men, which I think that's pretty is a good information. And actually, as I'm reading this, I'm like learning new things here. And yes, I mean, it makes sense because of the hormones that you just explained about what causes depression, right? Girls within 14 and 18 years old of age have higher rates to have depression more than boys around this group of age. And also 10 to 15% of all the new moms get a postpartum disorder, depression, which is, usually happens the first year after the birth is of the child. I'm sorry. Another thing that we wanted to show to you guys based on the research that we have done is that people, well, not people, but women tend to have some type of develop some like eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, and obviously these can develop, another depression disorder or anxiety, right? And we are talking about 90 and 95% of the cases of anorexia can have depression, and they are obviously females. And although men are more likely than women to die by suicide, but women report attempting suicide approximately twice as often as men. Diamond?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get it to change. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that. So ways that what we could do to help. So if during this process or during this presentation, you notice, okay, I might have depression because I'm experiencing these things, or you might see someone else that has depression and they're experiencing these things, right? What can you do to help? So one thing that you could do is talk to a medical professional. So that could be your primary care physician, because you could talk to them about your symptoms. Hey, I'm experiencing this, I'm noticed this, I'm changing my mood, or changing how I eat. And they can give you information about other medical professionals. They can refer you to a therapist, or they can refer you to a psychiatrist if there is a need for medication to help with the depression, to be able to help you through the depression. Also, you could go to therapy. So if you do talk to the medical professional, or if you also just find a therapist on your own, us, the Encompass Center, you could go to therapy and you could talk through these issues. If there is something specific that is going on that has caused the depression, like one of those major life crises or a traumatic event, you can begin to process these things that has happened in order to help alleviate that depression and help to be able to work through what's going on. Also, develop coping mechanisms. This is something that you can work on if you have a therapist and they can help you through these and develop these coping mechanisms. Or sometimes people just have these things that they do to help them feel better, which are coping mechanisms. These could be different things that you do when you feel like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm going into a depressed state, or I'm starting to get really depressed. Okay, let me do things to better my mood, to help myself. So, these are some coping mechanisms that are common, but also good. One is not keeping your feelings bottled up. So if you're having, like we said, if you're having things that's happening, major life crises, a lot of stress at work, family responsibilities piling up, and you feel like you need to talk to someone, or not being able to talk to one is causing these things to just be bottled up and, stacking on top of each other, it can really cause, this big explosion to where, everything just kind of blows up and you kind of go or have a crisis, or you can really fall into a very depressed state if you don't start to work through some of these things and start to release some of these things that's going on. Staying engaged in social and activities and functions. So, being around friends, being around people, being in the community around people can very much so help a lot. Having
Right.
positive interactions can boost your mood. It causes those positive brain chemicals to be released to kind of change how the depression is going. And it can just give you a break also sometimes about what's going on in your mind, what's going on at home, help you to relieve some stress also.
Yes.
Exercising regularly is a big one. Because exercising is one of the biggest things that releases those positive chemicals within your brain that helps you to feel better. Exercise, it could be anything from taking a walk, going to the gym, doing some yoga. All of those different things you can do can help you to feel better. Getting enough sleep, which is 8 hours per night, is ideal. Now, I do know, as adults, we have a lot of different things and a lot of different responsibilities that we have. We might have children, so we might be on the go for so much, and, we may have to go to sleep late and get up early. When you can, as much as you can, get at least, 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. That would change your mood drastically. When you're tired, when you're not getting enough sleep, that can cause you to be depressed. And lastly, different things that help you practice relaxation. Meditation is one of those things that helps you to detach away from everything and kind of be one with yourself and notice what's going on with yourself, your emotions, and be able to just release and take a break from what's going on. Yoga, which I mentioned before with exercise, as you stretch, yoga does a different positions that help you stretch also. Certain parts of our body holds different stress. So when you stretch those places out, it helps you to relieve that stress that's in your body. And that goes along with some of the things that you experience when it comes to pain in the body when you're depressed. So the different aches, the different pains. When you do those stretches, it helps with those things. Or other relaxing techniques, if you just want to take some time and be outside and sit in the sun, and it helps you and it, elevates your mood, definitely do that. So whatever techniques that help you practice relaxation, but also make you feel better.
Yes. Diamond, another thing that I wanted to talk is that definitely depression is a very serious illness, right? And we need to look for help. We need to find therapy and just like trying to like work with your therapist about like first of all educate yourself about what depression is, right? And also something that you didn't mention is antidepressants. I'm sure like people might have a lot of questions about medication, but the medication is also sometimes prescribed based on factors such as the intensity and how often the symptoms are and the risk of the recurrency. Right?
Right.
It's very important that we want to like mention is about self-care and how important is self-care. Diamond just mentioned something about life stressors and how life can be very difficult for a lot of people, right? When we do self-care, that helps to burst your energy, to cope better with life stressors. And I talk here about 3 different type of like self-care, which is the emotional self-care. Emotional self-care is really important, like when you talk in a positive way about things that you do. A lot of people that have depression tend to have the tendency to talk really negative about themselves and things that are happening around. So I think like self-talk in a positive way might help to feel better, right? A lot of things that people say or might do is take, like bubble baths, take like a hot steamy showers. Also like to give you permission to take a break from a lot of things that you are doing. During the work can be stressful, so it's really important that you take a break from that and sometimes put some boundaries for yourself and say, no, I can't do this because, I'm so stressed out. I need a break. And that's totally fine, right? Another thing is this physical self-care, it's not just emotionally, but also how we are treating our bodies, right? It's really important that one of the things that we also mentioned about the symptoms is people not sleeping okay. So it's really important that they correct the sleeping habits, like put yourself down, cell phone down, turn off your TV and trying to like really sleep, because it's really basic, and that can affect your mood if you don't correct that, right? Also is what Diamond just mentioned. It's just like be active, exercise, go out for a walk. You don't have to go to the gym. A lot of people say like, oh, but I need to go to the gym, I don't have the money. No, you just can take a 20-minute walk, and that would be enough to get that type of activation. Now, that is really important too, because when you get the adrenaline going in your body, there's some other hormones that are going to be going in your body, which is the dopamine, right? That can like make you feel really good and more energetic. You also mentioned something about meditation. I think that meditation is really good, especially when people have a lot of anxiety. Like depression can be also be related with anxiety. I think like meditation helps a lot people to manage, their anxiety, and again, going back to the stressors in their lives, right? We mentioned something about journaling, when we put some words and our, we're feeling our emotions, and we put some words down. A lot of people tend to say that they feel really relieved when they actually write things down about what they feel, right? They don't have to like leave it in here, but also if they have it on a piece of paper, make them feel much better. Going back to you, Diamond.
Okay, so what you can do in a crisis situation. So as Sylvia was saying, most people need a little bit of help with getting through depression. It could be sometimes, just a simple going to therapy for a short period of time about some sort of event that has caused a depression, or a continuous needing medication, antidepressants to help you be able to get through the day and have less symptoms. Whatever it is, some people need help, and most people do need some assistance. It's not something that you can just get over. Some people like to say, like Sylvia was saying, oh, you're just sad, you'll get over it. Or, let's just go do something and just go have some fun and you'll feel better, right?
Right.
It's not that simple. I'm pretty sure if people could just snap out of it as easy as people say, I don't think people will want to stay sad. They will want to feel better. They will choose to feel better and not choose to stay in this position. But sometimes people really don't know how to say, I need help sometimes. So if you have a crisis situation that is going on, we do have some tips and things that you can use that can help you through a crisis situation. So let's say you have a friend who is experiencing depression, and they're getting to the point to where they're saying, I feel like I'm going to hurt myself. The first thing you can do is contact a doctor, the therapist that person's been working with, or a mental health agency in your community right away. They can give you good information on what to do, some more resources to help your friend, or even be able to talk to your friend to maybe get them to a calmer state to be able to continue with different type of therapy or different type of services that can help them. The second thing, the Encompassing Center. If you feel like, okay, I'm experiencing depression, it's getting really, really bad, I really need to talk to someone. You do have that first number is the intake line. Second number is if you need to do the intake in Spanish, we do have an option for that. Call, get an intake done. Get connected with a therapist, and start to work through what your feelings are and your depression. If you feel like I am feeling suicidal and I need to talk to someone, you could call the National Helpline for Suicide. That number is provided. If it's really, really serious to where things are going to happen now, or if you have a friend and the crisis is getting really bad, you may be able to call 911 if it's a real emergency you need help right at this moment. So now a thing that happens too, if some people are going to the point to where the depression is getting really bad, they're starting to feel suicidal, they may have to go to the hospital and spend some time at the hospital in order to get back regulated and get some assistance and get also some aftercare to continue to help them once they, get to a more stable part. But sometimes it can be hard trying to see if that person needs to, to go to the hospital, or maybe we could utilize another thing or another service that can help them. So if you feel like a person is becoming severe, their symptoms is becoming severe, they're increasingly getting more, depressed or more suicidal, hospitalization may be a good thing that can keep them safe. Most of the time, hospitalization is to keep people safe, to keep yourself safe, to keep other people safe, just to keep everyone safe. And in those times, you will have a person who is threatening to hurt themselves or someone else. You have a person being destructive or behaving inappropriately to where I am so sorry. So to where you might you need some assistance. You can't control them. You can't calm them down. So you might have to call the hospital. This person may need medication and you guys just haven't either discovered that yet, or that person has decided to stop medication and you may need some help getting them back on. This could be also help because that can help them be also closely monitored, because they will have to be closely monitored while they're in the hospital. Or if the person, they're having a crisis to where it's kind of out of your control, you don't really know what you could do, the things that you're trying is not really helping, you could take them to the hospital, and they can have a 24-hour care to help them stabilize. And sometimes people do need that. They need, a 24-hour kind of schedule or plan to get them back stable, to get them back healthy, and to get them back feeling good, right? So actually that number that we have is a little wrong. So the number for our intake line is 773-638-5703. And then also you could call 988 for other crisis situations also if you do need some assistance. Okay. So these are the references that we use for this presentation. If you would like to read up on more, causes of depression, what depression is, get more information, get more ways to help, get more research about things that are known right now about depression, here are some of the resources that we've used. And there's also just a variety of information that you can Google and try to find that can help you learn what depression is and learn how to help people.
Yay, that was great information, ladies. Oh, give yourselves a hand.
Yay.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it. We talked about science, we talked about research, we talked about coping skills, we talked about warning signs. Like, we've covered a lot, and you guys got resources. So I greatly appreciate that, because sometimes people just need to know where to go, who to call, and how to help, and what to look for. And once we're educated, that's the purpose of this month's series, is to educate people on what to look for and how to help, basically. And so, I thank you ladies so much for taking the time out on a Friday to provide information to the community. And yeah, as us all being women of different ages and ethnic and cultural identities and all that other stuff, we all can collectively say that, you know, as women, we need to make sure we put ourselves first and take care of ourselves before we're able to go out and take care of others. And so
Right.
I think that's very important as we go through those life stages from early, you know, teenagers,
Right.
we're young and we're moving and we're excited, and then having kids and menopause and all that stuff. It's like, whoa, we get hit hard with a lot of the life changes, and Lord knows those hormones can cause a lot of havoc. So we got to make sure we are talking to our doctors. We are not afraid to ask questions. If we need to get to the point of, you know, utilizing psychiatry and, you know, evaluations and all that stuff, it's not scary, guys. It's a wellness. Your brain is an organ, and we need to continue to take care of it. If it was anything else, if it was our heart or our skin or anything that's going on in our body, we're quick to go to the doctor and make sure they take care of it and handle it. And so make sure you utilize the providers that are here to take care of your brain and keep that organ nice and functioning and well. So I commend you ladies once again. Give yourselves a hand.
Yay.
And as Diamond shared, you guys know how to reach the Encompassing Center. And if you need to reach out to these ladies, they are so sweet and are open to answering any questions. And so give us a ring, come by. We're located 3019 West Harrison in Chicago. And yeah, let's continue this series in mental health. We will be back in a week for our last Friday. Oh, I'm so sad to see it in, but mental health is a lifelong journey. And so we'll be tackling men in mental health and also substance use in mental health. And so thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye.